investigation and how many hours you want somebody up here reviewing the work, since I know the city crew is going to be doing a lot of the installations, those types of things. So there's some information on here that those are services that you just don't think you need. You can certainly just kind of cross those off. So I don't know if you have any questions. I don't really intend to go through this item by item. I think for the most part it's pretty self-explanatory, but you guys got a good project up there. I know it was about 2 years ago you started down this path, so it's exciting to see it moving forward. So we appreciate the opportunity to submit the proposal, and appreciate you guys considering us. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions for Mike? Otherwise we can. Well, thanks so right now.
Well, thank you very much. If you have any, feel free to give me a call.
Yeah, I got your number. Go ahead. Good evening. I'm Jess Holder with Olson, but I know quite a few of you here. We did get our proposal turned in. I'm hoping that everybody got it. Talked to Paul, we tried to turn it in, and Arbor Day kind of messed with us a little bit there, but see, everybody's got it. Same kind of thing. We did come out and visit with Paul and Rick. Went and visited the site. Talked about kind of what you had going on up there and what you guys are looking for. Really wanted to somewhat maximize, I guess, as much of the grant money as we could out of the planning portion. Actually move into some of the preliminary design portion, and then talking to Paul, take it all the way through construction. Same kind of thing, all the way through the platting process. Whatever you guys require, on the city zoning requires on the plat, lot setbacks, easements, whatever, all the way through that process on into final design, and on into construction. Construction, we kind of did an on-call thing there a little bit. Talking to Paul, he was kind of wanting a number to protect us both during the process where you guys, the city was going to complete the utilities themselves. Understanding that he'd probably want us on site full time for the paving, so neither one of those numbers are set in stone. We estimated 4 weeks for the paving. Just threw in an estimate for the utilities coming up, doing some testing, staking and whatnot. So that's kind of what we had for a scope there. I don't know if anybody's got any questions on any of that. So, anybody? I don't believe so. All right, thank you. And I guess what I would like to do, as far as you guys, I know Paul and I visited a little bit. There's actually other people involved in this. I know Caleb is, and Judy has been involved. And what I'd like to do is, this really wasn't a bid, set by the city to get these amounts. We just kind of visited with them, and Paul and I are going to, I think, basically sit down with Caleb and maybe Judy and go over these and see if there's items that we need or don't need, and maybe go that way if that's agreeable, I guess, with the council. Paul, did you?
No, Rick is involved in that too.
Okay, yeah. And I'd like, Rick, definitely with the streets and stuff. So I don't know unless anybody has a.
I just wondered about the timeline then. Are we going to have to come back on a special meeting to kind of get a recommendation, or do we have a month to decide? Or?
I don't know. What is the timeline, Caleb?
It's going to be tight, so I think we're really going to need a special meeting as soon as possible. Okay. I would certainly appreciate it as well as the developer.
I would assume that is the case.
Very tight. We're looking at June before things really start to take off, which is Messenger side. And they're on a timeline to spend 30% of their 1602, which is low-income housing tax credit funds, by December. But because of how that is filed, they've got 90 days to turn that in, so we're talking October. Now, when they say spend those funds, that means that they need to secure 30% of some of the project costs doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be 30% of the work done for their side of the development. So essentially what we're looking at is a tight timeline. We've got, we started with one coordination conference call on Friday. We have 2 more this week, so we can make sure that the new engineer that comes on board and then the Messner side is working in concert with each other as this project starts to move forward.
So
So
the engineering will be tied in with the Messner Park then, right? So
it will have to be
as far as
coordinated
staking and,
with. Exactly, yes.
so we've got what, a month maybe?
Month maybe, and the sooner that we can come to resolution on this, the happier I know that myself and our efforts will be, so we can keep things moving forward with
You
the
had a
Messner.
chance to look at these?
I haven't seen the
yourself?
proposal yet, no. Not at all.
So we talking a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, just as quick as we can get it
Or
done.
less.
I would feel more comfortable if we just take a day or two, you know, and get with Caleb and Paul and Rick and whoever else.
So we're wanting to meet maybe within a week.
I would say so.
Just a question. Could it, you know, I don't know how much the whole council wants to be involved in the decision, but could it be have a council committee, you know, meet with the group and
I was
then,
wondering that.
you know, give permission to, you know, for that group to decide? Yeah, you know, I don't know how in-depth you want to get on it.
Yeah,
but-
that'd be fine, and we have had a couple councilmen at our meetings. You know, Deb and Butch, I know have both been there. I don't think Jade's been there, but
Yeah.
you wanted to be there.
Well,
Either-
it'd be that or street and alley or a special committee, either way, but I think it wouldn't hurt to have somebody else looking at it, but I'm just looking at, we don't have a whole lot of time to spend.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'm open up
So you
for
want to just give a
suggestions.
committee that,
Well, we will probably have a contract that we'll have to,
right, the committee could meet and review, and once the contract's finalized, I think final approval needs to be with the council,
That's what I'm thinking.
rather than delegate it
But
to the
are-
committee.
Well, I don't think the approval, but for a committee to assist the mayor and staff to go over the contracts and bring a recommendation back to the full council at a special meeting.
That would certainly be efficient.
Yeah. And I just didn't know if we could get that accomplished within a week, or if we
Well, we
need
could
to
set
need that
this-
much time. I
No,
don't-
we can set the special meeting. I mean, getting together and just reviewing these quick, you know, I don't think that would be, you haven't set anything up for that, but. Paul?
I think the timeline that I felt, you know, and I know one of the firms themselves, we were talking at least 30 days, you know, possibly 45 days to just get that preliminary stuff done, you know, with that study involved in it. So, you know, we're talking, and I know I said at the meeting with Messner's, and time is a big, big concern, you know, to keep proceeding with this thing. So, you know, the quicker the better, I guess, for the
Yeah, we
meeting.
definitely don't want to drag our feet, but I think we can get it done within, maybe not by the end of the week, but at least the first of next week, I would say.
We're about the 13th of May.
What is that?
Is that too long?
13th, Thursday.
That's
are
a
you
week.
talking for a committee meeting or council?
No, we're coming back as a council. I'm wondering if the committee and that group would have time to bring a recommendation back by then, or is that too far down the road? Do we want it sooner than that?
Thursday?
A week, yeah, a week from Thursday.
I would think that'd be fine, wouldn't it? I mean,
That's about the first day I'm gonna be able to get back. So this week's is shot. If I participate, I don't need to, but I'm just
no,
looking
you've
at-
been there, I guess, yeah.
But I don't
know
wanna,
Dad's not here, but
I don't wanna put it too far back if somebody else can work on it and get it back to us earlier.
What are you thinking, Caleb, for timeline?
This week's a good week for me. Next week, Wednesday is the NETA conference out in Gering, and that's Wednesday through Friday. On the recommendation side of things, I'd be happy to provide my input, my recommendation with Judy prior to that, and then I can conference in for council or however you guys want to operate with us. Look at your schedule.
See, Monday,